Hello friends, welcome to Data Pandit. So let's talk about global secondary indexes now. So in earlier video I was talking about DynamoDB schema design, and then after I have talked about local secondary indexes, and now I'm going to talk about global secondary indexes. So both would be helping in data retrieval and latency perspective. Okay, if we are suffering the poor latency and we are costing more with respect to the data retrieval, we can think of the secondary indexes. So first is local secondary indexes, and the second is global secondary index, right? So if we have this kind of data, right? Game score like user ID, and we have a game title. I have taken this data from the AWS website. Okay, and to okay, so user ID, game title, top score, date time, wins, loses. So this DynamoDB table I have created, okay, already. Now I have a partition key as user ID, and I have a game title as an sort key basically. Let's say, okay, but sort key is game title. So this setup I have as of now. So, but the query coming in to me is like, what is the top score ever recorded for the game Meteor Blaster? Okay, so this is Meteor Blaster. So, what is the top score achieved for this one? Okay, so we have one Meteor Blaster record here, one is here, and yeah, two. We have two, right? So, what is the top score? I should be retrieving this record, right? So there is no way of doing it right currently. Okay. So in this case, what should happen is like we have to create another another way of data retrieval, probably a different index other than the primary index, right? So we should have index on top in the game title, right? So that we would hit the particular record, and then we retrieve the data. So in this case, what is the query is query of the expression. Query expression is like table name is game score, index is game title index, key condition is game title is like Meteorite Blaster, and okay, and the projected expression is user ID and top score. I need to retrieve, and the secondary index forward is the order is descending order. So if I do that, then I would be needing the game title index as an global index. Okay, global secondary index basically. So I need to create the global secondary index on game title. Okay, so how the the global secondary working of the global secondary indexes. So the basically the partition key requires a uniform data distribution. It works best when the data is uniform. So the thing is, data should be uniformly distributed when we deciding the GSI, and the RCU so the RCU and WCU would be defined separately because it's in a different table itself. Okay, first is primary index table, and this table is going to be a separate. Actually, this index is going to be separately created physically basically. So the with respect to data storage, there will be a the data storage will be multiplied. If you create one global second index, the data the entire data requirement is going to be doubled. Okay, there will be a different table basically, and the data synchronization happens between the primary table and this secondary table. This is a secondary table basically. Okay, right, and define RCU and separately. When you create the GSI, then you have to define the RCU and WCU also. Okay, and you need to take care of the RCU and WCU should be defined separately, and the number of RCU and WCU also will be depending upon. We will talk about that, how much WCU and RCU would be assigned for while creating the GSI, and the throttling. So you need to take care of the throttling as well while deciding the partition key of this, right? Because the partition key is going to be changed, right? So earlier the partition key was which one? User ID. Now the partition key is going to be game title, right? Okay. So if we define this, so the index is going to be the game title index, right? overhead of GSI. So global secondary index, if you create, so what are the overhead? Cost will go higher as the number of GSI index increase may go up to 20 GSIs. You can create up to 20, global secondary indexes. If you have 20 different columns and you have different queries, which are not able to service the request in terms of good latency and in terms of the cost, you can create up to 20 GSI, but there will be a cost. Okay, no guarantees of data consistency. So as I said, uh, between the primary table and the secondary table, there may be a data inconsistency. Okay, even though the DynamoDB make sure that it synchronizes the data at a greater speed, but sometimes it may not be the case. It's highly unlikely, but we cannot guarantee actually over the data consistency between the two. Basically, need to keep the WCU of the GSI table is greater than WCU of the main table. So write capacity unit of the this one should be larger than the main table basically. Meaning, meaning the data synchronization should happen in a good way actually, right? So if the WCU is greater than GSI, then it's okay. Otherwise, the data inconsistency would be there. Separate matrices on your GSI for monitoring and action. So you need to create the separate matrix, you know, for monitoring the data which is coming in the GSI and going out of the GSI. So that also can be done. Okay. So these are the different concepts associated with the global secondary indexes. And if we go to the management console, we can create the global secondary index. So we have a partition key, we have a sort key over top of it. So you can name the index, right? If you let's say again another key, let's say maybe score, and let's say if I need to create the sort key as well, then t date. So this will automatically be okay created. So when I decide the query expressions, my things would be like need to give the table name. I need to give the table name is the primary table, right? Game score is my primary table. This is the different index is going to be created, unlike the LSI and other things. Attribute of projections I need to assign. So only keys or including different others. We can add the attributes or all attributes or rest of the attributes, right? This projection. So the projection is this one only. So I can give the projection customized way in the query expression as well. And this scan index forward is the like sorting order actually. If it is a false, then descending. If it's a true, then it's an ascending order, right? So this is the way how we define the LSI and GSI basically, global secondary index on top of the DynamoDB table. So with that, thank you so much. Please subscribe my channel, and we are going to talk about